Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled, Are the Laws of the Torah Similar to the Laws of Nature? Are the laws of the Torah, 613 mitzvot, are they similar to the laws of nature? I think in answer in many ways, yes. Of course, they both have the same source, God. Created laws of nature, physics, biology, astronomy, zoology. It's all from one God, one monotheistic God. And so too, the same God created the laws of the Torah. And while we may separate the two systems, one is religion and one is God's creation, they are both God's creation. They have a lot of similarities. They're both systems. And in many ways, the Torah is not a religion, in no way like any other religion. It is a system reflecting God's will, and sometimes there might be room for leniency, sometimes not. It is a system that we have to subscribe to, just like there's a system of physics and astronomy and everything else. Give a few examples. God's laws of nature. So we all know there's something called Shema Yisrael Nashosechem. We have to try to stay healthy. The whole world agrees that it's a good thing to have body, good health, good mind, good soul. So we have body fat, and recently there's discovery that the different kinds of body fat, and it affects the person differently. You can have what's called the love handles, extra fat on the thigh, and that's very different, not as dangerous as more abdomen fat by the gut area. That fat is considered more dangerous. Now, let's say a person works out, doesn't work out, and he gets a big belly, she gets a big belly, and that leads to cancer, to heart disease, as that's been shown. That's a reality. There's a reality of fat, of science, of biology. You want to go ahead and try to overturn that reality and somehow for God to suspend it, maybe it can happen, but there's systems in place. There's a debate in NASA today whether we're going to be hit one day. What are the chances we're going to be hit one day by asteroid from something from outer space? But even if it's a small object, it could be as damaging as an atomic bomb. And there's a big debate. NASA maintains it won't happen. Some mavericks say it could happen. We're studying the laws of nature here. Will God suspend those laws, overrule them so that it doesn't? Maybe, but there's a system of nature here. And until we see an aberration, a suspension of it, we assume that's the system. And we learn about it and we appreciate it. And when we study physics and science, they're all studying the laws of nature that God created, and He maintains those laws. And when we appreciate those laws, we appreciate the wisdom behind them. That's what we call Chachmat Hashem and Avat Hashem. That brings us to love of God. And the Torah, the mitzvot, also, they're a system. You take any area, the same logic and thinking as when we approach physics and science, that's the logic when we approach the Torah as well. We can't go ahead and mold it to the way we want. We're going to somehow mold that nothing from outer space is going to hit us, or we can learn about it. We can't mold the fact that abdominal fat is more dangerous. We could try to work with the laws of nature. We could daven to overrule it, but there's a law of nature, so too with the Torah. We're studying the laws of nidah. Certain blood is tamei, certain blood is not tamei. And the person might feel, no, all blood, of course a woman's a nidah in this blood. Another person says, no, what do you mean? She just gave birth. We need to be hugging each other now. And it can't be the blood is top. Those feelings have nothing to do. There's a system here. There's a system. God created the system with wisdom, with rachmanut, with compassion, for sure, like He created the whole universe. But there's a system in operation now. And whatever your feelings are towards blood, you turned away from it, therefore everything should be tamei. Or it doesn't bother you at all emotionally, love for the wife just says everything should be those emotions are not part of discussion. We are studying this system of Torah. And any halacha is that way. Person on Yom Kippur, he loves Yom Kippur. It's so meaningful to him. He's studying the laws about it. And it says that someone who's not well can and must eat. You're studying the laws. You like it or not, the doctor says you are a sick person, you need to. No, I can't. The laws, you're subjecting yourself to these laws. There's a system. Your personal feelings and emotions are not going to affect the law, the system that God created. And yes, it's a beautiful system. It takes into account mankind in general. But in each case, the law is going to bend to your will? No. we bend to the law. There's a system like all of God's creations. We must go ahead and appreciate that system and learn about the system. And these chukim and mishpatim, whether it's a mishpat that we understand the reason behind it a little bit, I hope we don't, it doesn't make a difference. In that area, it's identical. They are both systems. The mishpat is a system where killing, we all agree, that's improper, that's a mishpat. But what point is a killing? When is a life a life? A fetus is a life. It's not a life. So everyone has feelings on this topic. It's life, it's exactly like killing. No, it's unborn, it's part of the mom. The Torah doesn't say either one of those exactly. You cannot kill the fetus, but you don't get killed for doing this. There's something in it. It's a system you're subscribing to. And your personal feelings are sort of left outside the door, just like when you're studying biology and physics and astronomy. We're studying God's system. So the original question, are the similarities? Very much so. They are both systems. They're all systems. All the systems of nature and the system of Torah are a system which reflect God's will, where when we are approaching them, we are trying to understand God's will, understand this beautiful system. Obviously, the system of Torah plays a very unique role in all of creation. The 6 days of creation, not to get to Yom HaShishi, where the system of Torah, that's the crescendo. And we didn't get into the value of that Torah system versus the value of the others. We just focused on one point. It is a system. We have to appreciate the beauty of that system. Shalom.